notice how the truly rich barely post about their wealth online? No Lamborghini selfies, no stacks of cash, no designer shopping hauls. Meanwhile, everyone else is flexing watches they're still paying off. It's almost like real wealth operates in silence. But here's the thing, that silence isn't an accident. Financial psychologists and wealth researchers say this behavior reveals something profound about how successful people think about money, security, and power. Let's break down the real psychology behind why genuinely wealthy people stay quiet on social media. Security over status. Here's what most people don't realize. The more money you actually have, the more you become a target. Kidnappings, fraud, lawsuits, even just endless requests from distant relatives. Wealth managers and security experts consistently advise their high net worth clients to maintain what they call a low financial profile. It's not paranoia, it's strategy. A study on wealth psychology found that individuals with assets over $10 million are significantly more concerned about privacy and personal security than the general population. They don't post their Rolex collection because they understand that visibility equals vulnerability. They value protection over applause. And honestly, when you're worth tens of millions, you don't need Instagram likes to feel successful. They play the long game. Really wealthy people think differently about money. They're not chasing quick dopamine hits from comments and likes. They're building generational wealth, managing investments, and protecting assets that'll outlive them. Behavioral economists call this delayed gratification mastery, the ability to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Posting your wealth is instant gratification. It feels good for a moment, but it doesn't compound, it doesn't grow. In fact, it often attracts problems. The wealthy understand that real power isn't in showing what you have. It's in what you can do with what you have when nobody's watching. They're not showing off wealth, they're accumulating it quietly. If this is already shifting how you see money and success, hit that subscribe button. We're decoding the financial psychology that separates the rich from everyone pretending to be. You need this. Keep watching.
They avoid the wealth signaling trap. Here's a concept most people never learn: conspicuous consumption. It's a term from economist Thorstein Veblen, describing when people buy expensive things just to show off their status. Psychologists have found that this behavior is most common among people who feel insecure about their wealth or social position. Translation: the people flexing the hardest online are often the ones with the least actual money. Real millionaires and billionaires don't need to prove anything. Their wealth is already validated by their bank accounts, their investment portfolios, and their business outcomes. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that individuals with higher financial literacy and actual wealth were less likely to engage in status signaling behaviors. They know the difference between looking rich and being rich, and they choose being rich every single time. They understand envy is expensive. Let's talk about something uncomfortable: envy. When you post your success, your cars, your vacations, you're not just sharing, you're triggering emotions in others. And those emotions have consequences. Social psychologists have long studied the destructive power of envy in relationships. It damages friendships. It creates resentment in families. It turns colleagues into competitors. Wealthy people who've built lasting success understand this deeply. They've seen how flashing money can isolate them, invite jealousy, and even sabotage business deals. There's an old saying among the rich: money talks, wealth whispers. And silence? Silence builds empires. They choose discretion not because they're modest, but because they're smart. They know that the moment people see what you have, some will start plotting how to take it.
Tax authorities and legal exposure. Here's something nobody talks about. Posting wealth online creates a digital paper trail. Tax authorities worldwide are increasingly using social media to investigate discrepancies between reported income and visible lifestyle. If you're claiming modest earnings but posting private jet photos, you're basically handing investigators evidence. Lawyers in civil cases routinely comb through social media to find proof of hidden assets during divorces, lawsuits, or bankruptcy proceedings. Wealth advisors and asset protection specifically warn clients that every post is potentially discoverable evidence. The truly wealthy don't just think about today's Instagram story, they think about tomorrow's audit, next year's lawsuit, or a future divorce settlement. They stay quiet because exposure has legal and financial costs that far outweigh any social media validation. And here's what you need to understand. If you're serious about building real wealth, you can't think like everyone else. Subscribe to this channel because we're breaking down the mindset shifts that actually create financial success. Not the fake stuff, the real stuff. Let's continue. They focus on relationships, not audiences. Genuine wealth is often built through relationships, partnerships, investments, referrals, trust. And here's the thing about trust. It doesn't scale well with fame. Research on social capital shows that strong ties, deep relationships with a small number of trusted people are far more valuable than weak ties, shallow connections with thousands of followers. The wealthy prioritize private dinners, exclusive networks, and personal phone calls over public posts. They understand that the people who can actually help them grow their wealth aren't scrolling Instagram looking for flashy content. They're in private equity meetings, charity galas, and golf clubs. Posting online might get you followers, but it won't get you into the rooms where real money is made. Silence keeps those doors open.
They've learned from watching others fail. If you study the lives of people who lost everything, a pattern emerges. Many of them were loud about their success right before the fall. Athletes who went broke, celebrities who filed for bankruptcy, entrepreneurs whose businesses collapsed. A lot of them were posting their wins publicly right up until they weren't winning anymore. Psychologists call this the overconfidence effect, where public declarations of success can actually make people take riskier decisions and ignore warning signs. The wealthy who stay wealthy have often witnessed these cautionary tales up close. They've seen friends, colleagues, or family members lose it all, and they learn that humility and privacy are forms of protection. They know that the higher you fly publicly, the harder the fall feels when it comes. Old money versus new money mentality. There's a fascinating cultural divide here. Old money, families who've been wealthy for generations, tend to be extremely private. New money, people who recently became rich, often can't resist showing it off. Sociologists attribute this to insecurity and the need for social validation. New money wants the world to know they've arrived. Old money doesn't need to announce anything. They've already arrived generations ago. This creates an interesting dynamic. The people who understand wealth deeply, who've seen it managed across decades, treat it like a responsibility, not a trophy. They teach their children to be discreet, to dress down, to never discuss money publicly. It's not about being humble, it's about being smart. Because they know that wealth that lasts isn't built on attention, it's built on discipline, discretion, and strategic silence.
They control their narrative. Here's a power move most people miss. By staying off social media or keeping a low profile, the wealthy control what information exists about them. They decide who knows what and when. This is strategic ambiguity, and it's a tool used by everyone from billionaires to intelligence agencies. When you overshare, you lose control of your story. People form opinions. Competitors gather intelligence, media twists your words. But when you stay quiet, you remain a mystery, and mystery is powerful. It makes people curious. It forces them to come to you for information. It keeps you in control of every business deal, every negotiation, every relationship. The wealthy understand that information is currency, and they don't give it away for free on Instagram. Financial independence means emotional independence. Let's go deeper. People who post constantly are often seeking external validation. Likes, comments, shares. It's a dopamine loop, and psychologists compare it to mild addiction. But people with real financial security don't need that hit. They've achieved what psychologists call self-determined motivation. Their drive comes from internal goals, not external approval. They wake up focused on building, investing, and growing, not checking how many people liked their vacation photo. This emotional independence is both the cause and effect of wealth. It helps them make better financial decisions because they're not influenced by trends or peer pressure. And it's reinforced by their wealth because financial security reduces anxiety and the need for external reassurance. They don't post because they genuinely don't need to. And that freedom is something money can actually buy.
They know wealth is a responsibility, not a flex. Finally, and this might surprise you, many truly wealthy people feel a sense of responsibility that comes with money. They're aware of inequality. They see how most people struggle, and flaunting wealth feels, to them, tasteless or even morally uncomfortable. Studies on wealth and empathy show mixed results, but many high-net-worth individuals involved in philanthropy express discomfort with ostentatious displays. They prefer to use their resources quietly, fund scholarships, support causes, invest in communities, not because they're saints, but because they understand that wealth gives them influence, and influence works best when it's not accompanied by resentment. They've learned that being loud about money makes people less willing to work with you, invest in you, or support you. Silence, on the other hand, earns respect. So next time you scroll through social media and see someone showing off, ask yourself, are they actually rich, or are they just trying to look rich? Because the wealthiest people, you'll never see them coming. They don't announce their net worth. They don't flex their assets. They move quietly, build strategically, and protect what they've earned. They understand something most people never learn. Real wealth doesn't need an audience. It just needs to grow. And the less people know about it, the safer and stronger it becomes. That's not secrecy. That's mastery. If you're done chasing the appearance of success and ready to understand how real wealth is built and protected, you need to be subscribed to this channel. We're not here to teach you how to look rich. We're here to decode how the actually wealthy think, move, and win. Now here's what I really want to know. Drop a comment below and tell me honestly, do you think staying private about your finances makes you smarter or just paranoid? Have you ever regretted posting something about money online? Let's talk about it.